So let's configure your backup. All you need to do is hit the drop down menu. Under configuration, go to edit. This name is what will appear on your backup dashboard. So you can leave it or you can change it. But for your device management, you will actually have the device name, which is changeable. So once you get the backup on your dashboard, you can double click and change it to any kind of device name that makes sense to you for the organization. And you can leave the backup job name the same for every device. It's really up to you as far as how you want to do the naming convention for your own organizing. But that's where that comes from. We have a built-in passphrase, and that is to log in to the backup server. So you're going to want to leave that the same. Your destination's already been pre-filled for you, and you want to make sure you leave this the same too, because it will put the files in the correct folder path for you, your business, and the organization that you're backing up for. Now, source data is where you pick what you want to back up. So for example, I'm just going to add in a little extra here. We'll go maybe boot, and you can hit next. For your schedule, it's usually a good idea to ask your client, do you leave your computers running at night or shut them down? And if they say, we shut them down, then maybe 9 p.m. is not a good time for you. But we find this works pretty well because it will pick up the next morning if they miss it. Click next again. These options you can leave the same. We have them preset for the most optimized, efficient way to back up. So just leave these options the same. You will find an auth username and password, and these are different per client. And the no backend verification, the way that we do our backups, it encrypts the files and it is impossible to verify in any way. So you want to make sure you leave this checked, otherwise your backup will hang. And this send HTTP URL down here is what reports to your dashboard. So you're going to want to make sure you leave that the same too. Hit save, and it will ask if you want to adjust your bucket name. But as I said, we have actually already created the correct bucket and folder path for you. So it will ask this every time. You always just want to say no. And then we hit run now. Okay, so I'm getting a warning because a file is being used by another process. That's okay, the backup still went through, but that file didn't get backed up. If we go back to our dashboard, you can see we have a warning present, and we can either quickly just press the drop down and see what the error was. Okay, so that tells us right there. Or you can view the history and you can get a little more details about it, but it will tell you exactly um, what's going on. In this case, failed to process because it's being used by another process. Now you can hit clear, and that will leave it the same on your admin dashboard, but for the client's sake, it will clear the error on dashboard and make it a successful, because it was not a failure. It was a warning, which the same thing here you can see we have is being used by another process. It's being used by another process. But as far as the customer's sake goes, it's okay to clear and give them a little more peace of mind on their status. So let's do a restore. At the top in your navigation buttons, you can find Restore Management. On this screen, you can search for any device or organization to help narrow it down once you have more organizations. Find the device that you're looking for, and when you go to config, you'll pick usually the most recent, but sometimes a client realizes they lost a file months ago, and you may need to select a later date. So you select your file and hit Initiate Restore. Once you have restored the files, you will notice the job appears underneath Active Restores. So as you can see, the status is currently initiated. It does take 12 hours, and this is a security feature that gives us time basically in case a customer is hacked and someone is trying to access their files. There is a 12-hour window here before they can access them, so it gives us time to get in the way. There is a progress bar that goes from 0 to 100 and a countdown that counts down from 12 hours. You can go ahead and generate a restore email if you would like. You can send this to yourself or to the client. If you send it to yourself, you'll have to forward it to your client. Once you queue this, it will not send for until this countdown is finished. So you can go ahead and queue it as soon as you initiate the restore. And all it does is send your client some temporary login credentials that they will log in and be able to access their files to restore. Okay, that is how you initiate a restore. The active restores will list your files, any restores, for 6 days. Generally, our restore, once you have initiated it and the files have been restored, there is a 3-day period that those files can be accessed. So you're going to want to make sure your client gets in there and gets what they need from those files. Otherwise, there will be another 12-hour waiting period. Okay, thank you.